What kind of country is the UK? Let's put it this way. He was the empire where the sun never sets. They rule a quarter of the world's land. Single-handedly shaped the rules of modern society, but just a few decades later reduced to the shame of the 5 permanent sick man of Europe. Which country's decline is the hardest to explain? Not the Soviet Union, not America. It was England. Why? Because every knife in the British pillar, it all moves by itself. Send talent to the slaughterhouse, defeat the territory bit by bit. Even the industry that underpinned the empire also smashed by hand. Let's talk today. This country, how did you destroy yourself one knife at a time? To understand how England fell, we need to know how he got up there. Late 18th century Britain rewrote the world with the Industrial Revolution. Steam engine, railway, factory. Britain took the whole world. It becomes its own source of raw materials and commodity markets. Peak period. The British Empire governs India, Australia, Canada, South Africa. The colony covers an area of over 34 million square kilometers. The reason why this system can be turned around, it relies on 3 things to support it. At the same time, people who can fight the land that could hold the empire and support the running industry. People, industry. 3 pillars. Without an empire, then it took the UK 70 years. Saw off these 3 pillars one by one. In 1916, World War I reached its 3rd year. The British planned a massive attack. It's on the Somme in northern France. The British general's judgment was to bombard with cannons for 7 days. First, flatten the German positions. The infantry rushed over and took it easily. July 1st, 1916, the shelling stopped infantry out of the trench. British casualties 60,000. Day, single day, 60,000, the worst day in British military history. But it's not that number that's worse, but who died when war broke out. The British government launched a partner recruitment program. The same city, a factory, people from the same school can join the army together, fight together, respond to the call without breaking up. Who were the first people to sign up? Lawyer, teacher, college student, engineer. The age of the poet, Britain's most dynamic young people. The group went to the battlefield, then the group died in the Somme. Some small towns lost all the malfunctioning males in one day. The Battle of the Somme took almost 5 months. British casualties exceeded 400,000. The empire still exists, it's still red on the map. But the people who keep this empire going, the best of that generation, that's it. The first pillar defeated, everyone lost, but the land is still there. More than 20 million square kilometers of colonies. This is the greatest strength of the empire. No war can take it away. However, 30 years later, the UK took this confidence by itself. Within 5 weeks, disposed of it casually. In 1947, India gained independence. Britain needs to send someone to preside over the handover. This man is called Lord Mountbatten. The handover to India was originally planned to take a year to complete. After Mountbatten took office, compressed the time to a few months. Those responsible for dividing India and Pakistan, it's a British lawyer named Radcliffe. He had never been to India before. Lack of knowledge of local history. I don't know the ethnic distribution. I only have a few outdated maps at hand. He drew the line with 5 continents. This line cuts through Punjab, cut through Bengal, cut through thousands of years of land without borders. Bring people from the same village split into 2 different countries. The line is drawn and the British are gone. Then about 15 million people were forcibly displaced. Hundreds of thousands of people have died during conflicts as they migrate. Britain wasn't driven out. I was in a hurry to get rid of it. Handover day. Mountbatten attended the ceremony. Smile and shake hands, take a photo and board the ship and leave the subcontinent that has been in business for 200 years. Take 5 weeks to swipe. Throw the second one. The pillars destroyed, the ground, the land is gone. And a generation has passed, but Britain still has one last thing to lose. Industry. The first country in the world to complete the Industrial Revolution, coal mine, steel, shipbuilding, is the lifeblood of Britain. No one can take it away. However, in 1984, the British government has made a decision: pull out this last lifeline with your own hands. March 1984. The Thatcher government announced the closure of a large number of loss-making coal mines. 200,000 miners take to the streets. The strike lasted for a whole year. In the end, the miners' lost. Coal mine closed, the steel plant is closed, the shipyard is closed. The whole of northern England, cities that rose up because of the Industrial Revolution: Sheffield, Sunderland, Middlesbrough, begins to be hollowed out. The factory smoke, the rails are rusted. A family that has depended on this bite for generations suddenly lost his job. The numbers tell the story best. 1970. The share of UK manufacturing in GDP exceeds 30%. By 2000, it was less than 15%. The industrial foundation built with the Industrial Revolution in 30 years, half of it was torn down by its own policies. This is not a natural elimination of the market, it's not sabotage. It is the result of the active choice of the British government. The 3rd pillar was sawed off by itself. So let me wrap up. This country built its empire on people. The empire is supported by the ground. The empire was fed by industry. And then, filling the best people into the station on the Somme land that has been in operation for 200 years. Swipe it away in 5 weeks. The roots of the Industrial Revolution. Factory by factory. 3 pillars are finished. The outside world sees this as a decline, but look carefully at these 3 knives. No knife is forced. Every knife is made in the UK. Every knife was slapped on the table at the time and said, this is the right decision. This is not a story of being defeated. This is an empire with imperial hubris. I personally sawed off my own empire. The 3 pillars then stand in front of the ruins and ask, how did I become like this?